Commander Marcus Cole stood in the corner of the large atrium. He was bored, very bored. For 3 years, he had lived on orbital platform Verity 7. It was a massive space station floating between Earth and the Valanthi Empire. Marcus was a diplomatic observer. This meant he watched, he waited. He did almost nothing important. The Valanthi were an old civilization. They controlled 12 star systems. Their technology was far beyond anything Earth had created. Their ships could cross galaxies in days. Their weapons could destroy moons, and they thought humans were primitive. To the Valanthi, humans were like children, useful for simple work, maybe, but not worthy of respect, not worthy of attention. Earth had only discovered space travel 50 years ago. The Valanthi had ruled the stars for 10,000 years. Marcus understood his place. He was here because Earth wanted to be part of galactic politics. The Valanthi allowed human observers because it cost them nothing. They didn't care about humans. They barely noticed them. Today was different. Today was important. The Imperial delegation had arrived for treaty negotiations. This was a big deal. Ambassadors from many worlds had come to watch. Important decisions would be made. Trade agreements. Military alliances. The future of entire planets. Marcus was not invited to the negotiations. Instead, his commander had given him the worst job possible. Crowd control in the outer atrium. Far from the important meetings. Far from the powerful people. He was basically a security guard standing in a hallway. "Stay out of the way," his commander had said. "Don't cause problems. Don't talk to anyone important." So Marcus stood in his corner and watched the Valanthi walk past. They were beautiful, in their strange way. Their skin was silver, like polished metal. Their eyes were large and purple, like gemstones. They moved with grace, as if they were dancing instead of walking. Their robes shimmered with colors that seemed to change every second. The imperial procession entered the atrium. Guards walked in perfect formation. Their armor was white and gold. Their weapons hummed with energy. Behind them came the nobles, dressed in robes worth more than Marcus would earn in his lifetime. And in the center of it all was a small figure. Marcus noticed her immediately. She was tiny compared to the others. No taller than a human child of 8 or 9 years. Her robes were the most beautiful of all, covered in patterns that glowed softly. A thin crown of silver sat on her head. A princess, Marcus realized. The imperial princess, but something was wrong. The little princess was not walking calmly like the others. She was looking around with wide eyes. Her body was tense. Her hands were shaking. She was afraid. Marcus frowned. Why would a princess be afraid? She was surrounded by guards. She was in the safest place in the galaxy. What could possibly scare her? Then he saw it. One of the guards behind her moved his hand toward his weapon. It was a small movement. Quick. Hidden. But Marcus had been a soldier for 15 years. He knew what that movement meant. Danger. The princess saw it too. Her eyes went wide with terror. She looked left and right, searching for escape. The guards were all around her. The nobles pretended not to notice. No one was going to help her. Then she looked at Marcus. Their eyes met across the crowded atrium. Marcus saw pure fear in those violet eyes. Fear and desperation. She was trapped. She was alone. She needed help. The princess made her decision. She ran. Her small legs carried her forward with surprising speed. She pushed past a surprised noble. She ducked under a guard's reaching hand. Her crown fell from her head and clattered on the floor. And she ran straight toward Marcus. Behind her, chaos erupted. Guards shouted in alarm. Weapons were drawn. The commander of the guard force, a tall Valanthi with scars on his face, bellowed orders. The princess has been compromised. Weapons free. Weapons free. That meant they were allowed to shoot. They were allowed to kill. Marcus did not think. He did not calculate. He did not consider the political consequences. He opened his arms. The little princess crashed into his chest. She was so small, so light. Her hands grabbed his uniform and held on tight. She buried her face against him and trembled like a leaf in a storm. Marcus wrapped his arms around her. 12 guards raised their weapons. 12 weapons pointed at Marcus. 1 shot would kill him. 12 shots would turn him into ash. But no one fired. The guard commander, Valeth, stared at Marcus with an expression of complete shock. His weapon was raised, but his finger did not move to the trigger. Around him, the other guards were frozen in place. They were all staring at Marcus and the princess. More specifically, they were staring at how he was holding her. The princess had stopped trembling. Her breathing was becoming calm. Her grip on his uniform relaxed, just a little. She looked up at Marcus with those enormous purple eyes, and she whispered one word. Marcus's translation implant turned it into English. Please. Such a small word, such a simple word. But it carried the weight of a lifetime of fear, a lifetime of pain, a lifetime of being alone. Marcus looked down at her. Then he looked up at the guards with their weapons raised. He did not let go. I don't know what's happening here, Marcus said. His voice was calm and steady. But this child asked for my help. Where I come from, that means something. Commander Valeth's eyes narrowed. You do not understand, human. You do not know what you have done. Then explain it to me. The Valanthi guards looked at each other. Something passed between them. Some communication Marcus could not understand. Slowly, one by one, they lowered their weapons. The little princess pressed closer to Marcus. For the first time since he had seen her, she was not shaking. She was safe. And somehow, Marcus knew that his boring life on Verity 7 had just become very, very complicated. The atrium was silent, completely silent. Hundreds of people stood frozen in place. Nobles, guards, diplomats, servants. Everyone was staring at the same thing. A human holding the imperial princess. Marcus could feel their eyes on him. He could feel their shock, their confusion, their fear. Something was happening here that he did not understand. Something important. Commander Valeth took one step forward. His weapon was lowered, but his hand still rested on it. His scarred face showed no emotion, but his eyes were burning with intensity. Human, Valeth said slowly. You will release the princess. You will do it now. Marcus looked down at the small girl in his arms. She was holding his uniform so tightly that her knuckles had turned pale. Her face was pressed against his chest. She was breathing slowly, calmly. I don't think she wants me to let go, Marcus said. What she wants is not your concern. Actually, it is. Marcus met Valeth's eyes without fear. She ran to me. She asked for help. Until someone explains what is happening, I am not letting go of this child. A murmur ran through the crowd. Several Valanthi nobles whispered to each other. They seemed disturbed. Frightened, even. Valeth's jaw tightened. You do not understand what you are doing. You cannot understand. Then help me understand. For a long moment, Valeth said nothing. He seemed to be fighting some internal battle. Finally, he spoke. Among my people, touch is not simple. When two Valanthi touch, they share emotions, intentions, feelings. Everything that one person feels, the other person feels too. Marcus frowned. Like telepathy? No, not thoughts. Emotions. Valeth touched his own chest. When I touch another Valanthi, they feel what is in my heart, and I feel what is in theirs. It is how we have always been. Marcus began to understand. So when you touch someone who is angry, you feel their anger. When you touch someone who is sad, you feel their sadness. When you touch someone who wishes you harm. Valeth's voice became hard. You feel pain. Great pain. The princess shifted in Marcus's arms. She looked up at him with her big purple eyes. There was something in those eyes. Something like wonder. But I'm not Valanthi, Marcus said slowly. I'm human. Yes. And humans are. Valeth searched for the right word. Empty. Silent. When we touch your kind, we feel nothing. No emotion. No intention. It is like touching a wall. A void. That's why your people think we're primitive. Partly, yes. To us, you are incomplete beings, creatures without inner light. Valeth's eyes moved to the princess. But it seems we were wrong about something. The princess spoke for the first time since her whispered plea. Her voice was soft, like bells in the wind. He is not empty, she said. He is quiet. Valeth's eyes widened. The nobles behind him gasped. What do you mean, Your Highness? Valeth asked. The princess looked at Marcus with an expression of pure amazement. When my people touch me, I feel everything. Their love, their hate, their fear, their ambition. It is too much. It is always too much. Every touch burns. Every embrace hurts. Marcus felt his heart grow cold. Every touch hurts you? Yes, since I was born. The princess's eyes filled with tears. My mother cannot hold me without causing pain. My father's touch feels like fire. Even my servants must wear special gloves. I have never been held without hurting. She pressed closer to Marcus. Until now. The atrium remained silent. Marcus looked around at the Valanthi faces. He saw shock. He saw disbelief. He saw nobles who had spent their entire lives thinking humans were worthless. Now they were looking at him differently. Your Highness, Valeth said carefully, are you saying that this human's touch causes you no pain? No pain, the princess confirmed. No burning. No overwhelming feelings. She smiled, and it was the most beautiful and sad smile Marcus had ever seen. He is quiet, peaceful, like standing in a calm room after a lifetime of storms. Marcus understood now. The Valanthi could not touch each other without sharing emotions. For most of them, this was normal. They were used to it. But the princess was different. She felt everything more strongly than others. Every touch was overwhelming. Every emotion from another person crashed into her like a wave. She had lived her entire life in constant pain. And then she had touched a human. Humans did not broadcast emotions. Humans kept their feelings inside. To the Valanthi, this made humans seem empty and primitive. But to this little princess, it made humans something else entirely. It made them safe. The guards, Marcus said quietly, looking at Valeth. They were going to shoot her. Why? Valeth's expression became carefully blank. I do not know what you mean. I saw the signal. I saw the weapons being drawn before she ran. Marcus's voice was calm but firm. Someone ordered her death. Who? The princess trembled in his arms, but this time, it was not fear. It was anger. There are people who do not want me to become empress, she said. They say I am weak, broken, unfit to rule. They have been trying to remove me for years. Remove you? Kill me, the princess said it simply, as if discussing the weather. Today was supposed to be an accident. A security incident. The primitive human caused chaos, and the princess was caught in the crossfire. Marcus looked at Valeth. The guard commander's face was stone. Is this true? Marcus demanded. Valeth said nothing. But his silence was answer enough. Marcus pulled the princess closer. She was so small. So young. And her own people wanted her dead, because she was different. Well, Marcus said quietly, they failed. Yes, the princess agreed. Because of you. At that moment, a new voice rang across the atrium. It was old, and powerful, and filled with authority. What is the meaning of this? The crowd parted immediately. Everyone bowed. Even Valeth dropped to one knee. Walking toward them was the oldest Valanthi Marcus had ever seen. Her silver skin had faded to pale gray. Her purple eyes were deep and ancient. A crown of crystal sat upon her head. The Empress herself had arrived, and she was looking directly at Marcus. Marcus had seen powerful people before. Generals, admirals, presidents. He had stood in rooms with the most important humans in the galaxy. None of them compared to this. The Empress walked slowly toward him. Every step she took seemed to shake the ground. The air itself felt heavier. Everyone in the atrium held their breath. She was ancient. Marcus could see it in her faded skin, in her deep eyes, in the way she moved, slow but unstoppable. She had ruled the Valanthe Empire for 300 years. She had seen civilizations rise and fall. She had made decisions that affected billions of lives. And now she was standing in front of a simple human commander. "Mother," the princess said softly. The Empress's eyes moved to her daughter. For just a moment, Marcus saw something crack in that ancient face. Pain. Longing. Love. Then the mask returned. "Alindra," the Empress said. "You are holding hands with a human." Marcus looked down. It was true. Sometime during the confrontation, the princess had moved from hugging him to holding his hand. Her small fingers were wrapped around his larger ones. "Yes, mother," Alindra said. "I am. And does his touch cause you pain?" "No, mother. His touch causes me peace." The Empress was silent for a long moment. Her purple eyes studied Marcus. He felt like an insect under a microscope, like a specimen being examined. "Human," the Empress said. "What is your name?" "Commander Marcus Cole, Your Majesty." "Earth, Defense Force. Diplomatic Observer." "Commander Marcus Cole." The Empress tasted the name. "Tell me, Commander, do you know who my daughter is?" "She is the Imperial Princess, Your Majesty, heir to the Valanthe Empire." "Yes. She is also the most precious thing in my very long life." The Empress's voice became soft, dangerous. "If you have harmed her in any way, I will destroy your entire planet. Do you understand?" Marcus did not look away. "I understand, Your Majesty. But I have not harmed her. I would never harm a child, so you say." The Empress turned to Commander Valeth. "Report. What happened here?" Valeth stood at attention. "Your Majesty, there was a security incident. The princess broke from the procession and ran toward this human. He caught her and has been holding her since." "A security incident." The Empress's voice was flat. "Is that what we are calling it?" Valeth's face remained blank. "Yes, Your Majesty. I see." The Empress looked around the atrium. Her eyes moved across the faces of the nobles, the guards, the diplomats. Everyone except Commander Valeth and the human will leave. Now, nobody argued. Nobody hesitated. Within 30 seconds, the massive atrium was empty except for 4 people. The Empress, Valeth, Marcus, and the little princess still holding his hand. The Empress walked to a nearby bench and sat down. Suddenly, she looked tired. Very, very tired. "Come here, daughter," she said. "Bring your human with you." Alindra pulled Marcus forward. They stopped in front of the Empress. Up close, Marcus could see the lines on her face, the weight of centuries pressing down on her. "Sit," the Empress commanded. They sat. For a long moment, nobody spoke. The Empress stared at her daughter's hand in the human's hand. Her ancient eyes were unreadable. Then she spoke. "My daughter was born different. The healers call it resonance hypersensitivity, where normal Valanthe feel emotions through touch. Alindra feels them 1,000 times stronger. A simple handshake causes her pain. A hug feels like fire." The Empress closed her eyes. "I have not held my daughter since she was 3 years old. The last time I tried, she screamed for an hour." Marcus felt his heart break. He looked at the little princess. She was staring at her mother with sad eyes. "For 27 years, my daughter has lived in isolation. Servants with nullification gloves. Guards who keep their distance. No hugs. No comfort. No simple human touch." The Empress laughed bitterly at her own words. "Human touch. What an interesting phrase." "Your Majesty," Marcus said carefully, "I am sorry for your daughter's suffering. But I still do not understand what happened today. Why did your guards try to kill her?" The Empress's eyes snapped to Valeth. The guard commander stood rigid. "Tell him," the Empress commanded. Valeth's jaw tightened. "Your Majesty, I do not." "Tell him." or I will have your tongue removed and tell him myself." Valeth was silent for 3 heartbeats. Then he spoke. "There is a faction in the imperial court. They believe the princess is unfit to rule. Her condition makes her weak, unable to participate in normal court functions, unable to touch other nobles, unable to marry, unable to produce heirs," the Empress added coldly, "unable to continue the dynasty. That is their real concern." "This faction," Marcus said, "they want her dead? They want her removed from the line of succession. Death is the cleanest method." Valeth's voice held no emotion. Today's incident was planned for months. A security breach. Chaos. The princess killed in the crossfire, blamed on the primitive human who caused the disruption. Marcus looked at Valeth with new eyes. "You were part of this. I was ordered to ensure it happened." "Yes. And now?" Valeth looked at the princess. Something shifted in his eyes. Something that might have been shame. The princess touched the human. She found peace. For the first time in her life, she found peace. Valeth dropped to his knees. "I have served the Empire for 200 years. I have killed for the Empire. I have died for the Empire. But I cannot kill a child who has finally stopped suffering." The Empress studied her guard commander. Her face showed nothing. "So," she said finally, "my daughter's curse has become her blessing. The one creature in the galaxy who can give her comfort is the creature we all considered worthless." She turned to Marcus. "What do you want, human?" Marcus blinked. "What do I want? You have saved my daughter's life. You have given her something no one else could give. By our laws, you are owed a great debt." The Empress leaned forward. "So I ask again, what do you want?" Marcus looked at Alindra. She was watching him with those big purple eyes. Trusting him. Believing in him. "I want her to be safe," Marcus said. "That's all." The Empress smiled. It was a small smile. A sad smile. But it was real. "Then, Commander Marcus Cole, I have a proposal for you." Marcus stared at the Empress. "A proposal? What could the ruler of 12 star systems possibly want from a simple human commander?" "Your Majesty," Marcus said carefully, "I am just a diplomatic observer. I have no power, no wealth, no importance. What could I possibly offer you?" The Empress smiled. It was a tired smile. A knowing smile. "You offer something no one else in my empire can offer," she said. "You offer my daughter peace." Alindra squeezed Marcus's hand. She was looking at her mother with hope in her eyes. Hope and fear mixed together. "The faction that wants my daughter dead will not stop," the Empress continued. "Today they failed. Tomorrow they will try again. And again. And again. Until they succeed." "Can you not arrest them?" Marcus asked. "You are the Empress. You have absolute power. I have power, yes. But the faction is large. It includes many noble families, many military commanders, many wealthy merchants." The Empress shook her head slowly. "If I arrest them all, I start a civil war. Millions will die. The Empire will tear itself apart." Marcus understood. Politics was the same everywhere. Even in space. Even among aliens. Power was complicated. Actions had consequences. "So what is your proposal?" Marcus asked. The Empress stood up. She walked to a large window and looked out at the stars. "In our culture, there is a position called guardian. It is ancient, sacred. A guardian is a protector, a sworn defender. They dedicate their life to protecting one person." She turned back to Marcus. "I want you to become my daughter's guardian." The words hung in the air. Marcus felt the weight of them pressing down on him. "Me?" he said. "A human? A guardian to the Imperial Princess?" "Yes. But I am not Valanthe. I am an outsider. Your people think humans are primitive. My people think many things. They are often wrong." The Empress walked back toward him. "You are the only being in this galaxy who can touch my daughter without causing her pain. You are the only one who can hold her, comfort her, protect her. There must be other humans," Marcus said. humans who are more qualified, more important, perhaps. But you are the one she ran to. You are the one she trusts. The Empress looked at her daughter. She has never trusted anyone, Commander. Not even me, but she trusts you. Alindra was watching Marcus with desperate eyes. She did not speak. She did not beg. But her hand tightened around his. Please, her eyes said, please do not leave me. Marcus thought about his life. His boring, empty life on the space station. Watching, waiting, doing nothing important. He had joined the Defense Force to make a difference. To help people, to matter. But somewhere along the way, he had gotten lost. He had become just another face in the crowd. Just another name on a list. Now, the universe was offering him something else. A chance to truly matter. A chance to save one life that desperately needed saving. If I accept, Marcus said slowly, what happens? You will live in the Imperial Palace. You will be given noble rank. You will be at my daughter's side at all times. Her protector, her guardian, her shield against all who wish her harm. And the faction? They will accept a human in this position? The Empress's eyes turned cold, hard as diamonds. They will have no choice. A guardian is sacred. To harm a guardian is the greatest crime in our culture. If they kill you, they destroy themselves. She smiled. And there was no warmth in it. They wanted to use a human as a scapegoat. Instead, a human will become their greatest obstacle. Marcus looked at Commander Valeth. The guard had been silent throughout this conversation. His face was unreadable. And him? Marcus asked. He was part of the conspiracy. Yes. The Empress did not look at Valeth. He will be given a choice. Serve my daughter faithfully as her secondary protector. Or die. Which do you choose, Commander Valeth? Valeth dropped to one knee. I choose to serve, Your Majesty. Until my last breath. See that you do. One more betrayal, and I will erase your family name from history. Valeth bowed his head. I understand. The Empress turned back to Marcus. So, Commander Cole, what is your answer? Marcus looked at Alindra, this small, fragile princess who had suffered her whole life, who had never known the comfort of a simple hug, who had run to a stranger because she had no one else. He thought about his own childhood. His mother's hugs when he was scared. His father's hand on his shoulder when he needed strength. Simple touches. Simple comfort. Things he had taken for granted. This girl had never had any of that. Until today. What about Earth? Marcus asked. My government will have opinions about this. Your government will be thrilled, the Empress said. I am prepared to offer full diplomatic recognition to Earth. Trade agreements, technology transfers, military alliance, all of this in exchange for you. Marcus almost laughed. You are offering my planet everything it has dreamed of. Just for me? Not just for you. For my daughter's happiness. For her safety. For her life. The Empress's voice cracked slightly. I have ruled this empire for 300 years. Commander, I have made hard decisions. I have sacrificed much. But I cannot sacrifice her. Not her. For the first time, Marcus saw the Empress not as a ruler, not as an ancient and powerful being, but as a mother. A mother who loved her daughter more than anything in the universe. Marcus made his decision. I accept. Alindra made a small sound. It took Marcus a moment to realize she was crying. Tears rolled down her silver cheeks like drops of starlight. But she was smiling. Thank you, she whispered. Thank you. Marcus squeezed her hand gently. I am your guardian now, he said. You never have to be alone again. The Empress closed her eyes. When she opened them, they were wet. The ceremony will be held in 3 days, she said. Her voice was steady again. Strong again. The entire empire will watch. They will see a human become noble. They will see my daughter smile. And they will understand that the universe is changing. She walked toward the door. Then she stopped. Commander Cole. Yes, Your Majesty. Take care of her. She is all I have left. Then she was gone. Alindra leaned against Marcus's shoulder. She was still crying softly. But for the first time in her life, they were tears of joy. 3 days, she said. And then you will be my guardian forever. Forever is a long time, Marcus said. I know. Alindra smiled up at him. I am looking forward to it. 6 months passed. Marcus stood on the balcony of the imperial palace. Below him, the capital city stretched for hundreds of miles. Towers of crystal and light reached toward the purple sky. Ships flew between buildings like glowing insects. Millions of Volanthi lived their lives, worked their jobs, loved their families, and somewhere down there, people still wanted the princess dead. The ceremony 6 months ago had changed everything. Marcus had knelt before the empress. He had sworn ancient oaths in 3 languages. Alindra had placed her hands on his shoulders. And through some magic, Marcus did not understand. Every person watching had felt what she felt. Trust. Pure and complete trust. Many Volanthi had cried that day. They had never experienced such a clean emotion. Such perfect faith. It had shaken them deeply, but not everyone was moved. Lord Vathan, leader of the opposition faction, had watched with cold eyes. He had smiled politely. He had applauded at the right moments. But Marcus had seen the hatred beneath the mask. This was not over. You are thinking too hard. Marcus turned. Alindra stood in the doorway. She was wearing a simple blue dress today. No crown, no royal robes, just a young woman visiting her friend. That was what Marcus had become. Not just her guardian. Her friend. I am thinking about keeping you safe, Marcus said. You always think about that. Alindra walked to the balcony and stood beside him. You should think about other things sometimes. Happy things. Your safety makes me happy. Alindra laughed. It was a beautiful sound. 6 months ago, she had barely known how to laugh. Now, she did it often. You are strange, Marcus Cole. So I have been told. They stood together in comfortable silence. This was something else that had changed. Alindra no longer needed to hold his hand every moment. She had grown stronger, more confident. She could walk among her people now without fear, but she still liked being near him. And Marcus liked being near her. There is a festival today, Alindra said. In the central plaza. Mother says I should attend. Show the people that I am well. Marcus frowned. Public events are dangerous. The faction has been quiet for months. Perhaps they have given up. People like Vathan never give up. They wait. They plan. They strike when you least expect it. Alindra sighed. I cannot hide forever, Marcus. I am the heir to the empire. I must be seen. I must be loved. If I hide in the palace, I prove them right. I prove that I am weak. She was right. Marcus knew she was right. But he did not like it. Fine, he said. But I stay beside you the entire time. And Valeth brings extra guards. Alindra smiled. Of course, my guardian. The central plaza was magnificent. Thousands of Volanthi filled the space. Music played from floating platforms. Dancers performed in the air, their bodies glowing with inner light. Food vendors sold exotic treats from 12 different worlds. And in the center of it all, Princess Alindra walked among her people. They loved her. Marcus could see it in their faces. 6 months ago, they had pitied her. The broken princess. The girl who could not be touched. Now they saw something different. They saw a survivor. A symbol of hope. A princess who had found peace in the most unexpected place. Alindra stopped to speak with a young child. She knelt down and listened to the little girl's story about her pet. She laughed at the right moments. She asked questions. She was warm and kind and real. Marcus watched with pride. She had come so far. Then he saw movement in the crowd. Soldiers. Too many soldiers. Moving toward the princess from 3 directions. Not imperial guards. These soldiers wore different armor. Darker armor. Vathan's personal troops. Alindra, Marcus shouted. Get down. The attack came fast. Energy weapons fired. People screamed. The crowd scattered in panic. Marcus threw himself over Alindra. He covered her completely with his body. The first blast hit his back. Pain exploded through him. It felt like fire and ice at the same time. The second blast hit his shoulder. His vision went white. The third blast hit his leg. He fell to his knees but did not let go of Alindra. Through the pain, Marcus heard Valeth shouting orders. He heard more weapons firing. He heard chaos all around him, but he did not move. He did not let go. Valanthi weapons were designed to overload the nervous system. One shot could kill a Valanthi instantly. 3 shots should have turned Marcus to dust. But Marcus was not Valanthi. Humans did not have the same nervous system. The weapons still hurt. They still caused damage. But they did not kill instantly. And Marcus Cole was very stubborn. "Marcus!" Alindra screamed beneath him. "Marcus! No!" He looked down at her. His vision was blurring. His body was failing. But he managed to smile. "I am your guardian," he whispered. "This is my job." Then he stood up. The attacking soldiers stared in disbelief. They had shot him 3 times. He should be dead. No one could survive 3 direct hits. But this human was still standing. Marcus looked at the soldiers. His uniform was burned. His body was trembling. Blood dripped from his wounds, but his eyes were clear. And his voice was strong. "You want her," he said. The soldiers hesitated. This was not possible. This could not be happening. Behind Marcus, Alindra rose to her feet. She took his hand. She faced the attackers. "He is my guardian," she said. Her voice rang across the silent plaza. "He is human, and you will never touch him." Something incredible happened then. The crowd moved, not away from the danger, toward it. Hundreds of Valanthi citizens placed themselves between the attackers and the wounded human. They formed a wall of bodies. A shield of living people. They protected him. "You would die for this human?" Lord Vathan appeared from the crowd. His face was twisted with rage. "This primitive creature?" An old Valanthi woman stepped forward. "He was willing to die for our princess. He showed us what true courage looks like. What true love looks like." She looked at Marcus with tears in her eyes. "If this is what humans are, then yes, we would die for him." The crowd roared in agreement. Vathan looked around at the people he had tried to control, the people he had tried to manipulate. They were not listening to him anymore. They were listening to their hearts. "Arrest him," Valeth commanded. Imperial guards surrounded Vathan. "The Empress will decide his fate." Marcus woke in a medical chamber. His body was wrapped in healing bandages. Machines beeped softly around him. Alindra sat beside his bed. She was holding his hand. "You almost died," she said. Her eyes were red from crying. "But I didn't." "No. The healers say you will recover fully. They also say no. Valanthi could have survived those wounds. Only a human." Marcus smiled weakly. "We are stubborn." "Yes. You are." Alindra leaned closer. "The people are calling you a hero, Marcus. They say you proved that humans have strong hearts. Brave hearts. Hearts worthy of respect. Ardor. 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 I just did my job." "No." Alindra shook her head. "You did much more than that. You showed an entire empire what humanity truly is. You changed everything." "Ah." Marcus looked at the small princess. The girl he had sworn to protect. The girl who had become his friend. His family. "Did I do good?" he asked softly. Alindra smiled through her tears. "You did very good, Marcus Cole. You did very good." Outside the medical chamber, across 12 star systems, the Valanthi Empire was talking about one thing. A human who had taken 3 deadly shots and refused to fall. A human who had protected their princess with his own body. A human who had shown them the true meaning of courage. And on a small blue planet called Earth, people were finally being seen as equals, all because one man had opened his arms to a frightened child. The end.